Hi friends, welcome back to Literature Guide. This video is about poet, lover and birdwatcher by Nissim Ezekiel. The poem was published in his collection of poems named The Exact Name in 1965. In this poem, Nissim Ezekiel has described process of poetic creation with the help of three images of poet, a lover and a birdwatcher. All these three images employed by the poet melt into one as the poem progresses. I have recently published a video on Night of the Scorpion by Nissim Ezekiel. I have also produced many videos on literary criticism such as John Dryden and the heroic couplet in The Tragedy, Restoration Satire in English Literature, S.T. Coleridge's Fancy and Imagination, T.S. Eliot on the Metaphysical Poets, The Four Kinds of Meaning by I.A. Richards. You can watch all these videos on this channel Literature Guide. You can also visit a website. The link of the website is there on the screen. If you really like the content produced by this channel, do like and subscribe Literature Guide. If you have any suggestions, you can put your comment in the comment box below. I don't want to waste your time. Let's dive into a video and enjoy the video.
Poet, Lover, Birdwatcher by Nissim Ezekiel. Nissim Ezekiel has been considered as one of the renowned modern Indo-Anglian poets. Nissim Ezekiel's poem, Poet, Lover, Birdwatcher is one of his remarkable poems which appeared in his anthology of poems called The Exact Name in 1965. Nissim Ezekiel has compared the art of poetic creation to the courting of a woman by her lover and also to bird watching. In the poem Poet, Lover, Birdwatcher, Nissim Ezekiel has emphasized the quality of patience and perseverance in poetic creation. So, it is very clear that the theme of Poet, Lover, and Birdwatcher is the importance of patience and perseverance in poetic creation as well as in the courting of a woman and bird watching. Ezekiel produced other famous collections of poetry such as A Time to Change, 1952, and The Unfinished Man, 1960. Most of Nissim Ezekiel's poems are tinged with irony and colloquial speech which produce desired effect. Some of his famous poems are Night of the Scorpion, Enterprise, Background Casually and Goodbye Party for Miss Pushpati S. In Poet, Lover, Birdwatcher Nissim Ezekiel has compared the activity of poetic creation to the activities of pursuing and studying women's nature and birdwatching. The poet wants to suggest that the feeling of fulfillment and illumination can be obtained through patience and perseverance of one's goal. All these activities of poetry, pursuing a woman and understanding her nature and birdwatching by an ornithologist mentioned in the poem require patience, dedication and perseverance which test the mettle of a poet, a lover and a birdwatcher. The poet has described the methods and techniques employed by a poet, a lover, and a birdwatcher. The poet suggests that they have to avoid hastiness, inactiveness and complacency while engrossed in their respective activities. What the poet wants to imply through the title of the poem is very suggestive. The poet, lover and birdwatcher should have patience, sincerity, devotion and determination in order to get desired result in their respective tasks. Secondly, though the poet is describing the activities of three different professions, the readers can find that the three images in the title gradually melt into one as the poem progresses. The poet in the very first stanza says, "To force the pace and never to be still is not the way of those who study birds or women. The best poets wait for words." A posture of stillness is essential for the poet, the lover and the birdwatcher in the pursuit of their goal. The lover needs to spend some time to win the confidence of the woman he loves. Sincere love needs patience to bloom to its fullest. In the same way, the birdwatcher also has to go deep into the forest in pursuit of birds in order to capture the loveliest movements of the timid wings of the rare and lovely birds. The quest for a rare bird and the desire to conquer a woman's heart is not a matter of business, hastiness, will, and perseverance, but it is a matter of patience. One of the important aspects of Nissim Ezekiel's poem, Poet, Lover, Birdwatcher, is that he is primarily a poet of statement. The modern poets, especially the imagist poets like Ezra Pound, William Carlos Williams, and Ford Madox Ford, detested the poetry of statement, but Nissim Ezekiel enjoyed using crisp, concise and witty statements. For example, in the very first stanza of Poet, Lover, Birdwatcher, the poet says, "The best poets wait for words which is highly suggestive and needs detailed explanation." Nissim Ezekiel wants to suggest that the best and true poet does not make hurry in composing his poems till he gets inspired by some fantastic idea and finds appropriate words. The poet says, "The hunt is not an exercise of will but patient love relaxing on a hill." Nissim Ezekiel has used an image of the patient love relaxing on a hill in these lines. It is important to note that it is equally applicable to a poet, a lover and a birdwatcher in pursuit of their respective goals. Paul Verghese comments, "The shift from one image to the other in this poem is so natural that the poet, lover and birdwatcher lose their separate identities for once and merge into one another to carry the poem forward to its end." Though Nissim Ezekiel is not an imagist poet in the sense in which Ezra Pound, Ford Madox Ford and William Carlos Williams are, his poetry is not completely free from images. The dominant image in the poem is of the patient love relaxing on a hill, and it is equally applicable to a lover, birdwatcher and a poet. According to Ian Kerr, poetry and love, word and woman become intertwined in poet, lover, birdwatcher. In other words, in the poem Poet, Lover, Birdwatcher, Ezekiel has employed the images so adroitly that they mingle with one another in natural manner, and the poet, the lover and the birdwatcher lose their respective identity and become one. The ornithologist or the birdwatcher has to wait for the glimpse of a rare bird and its marvelous movement in the sky. His patient waiting is at last rewarded by the birds. The timid and shy bird at last yields itself to the glimpse of the patient and, of course, tired birdwatcher. In the same manner, the patient lover does also get his reward from a woman he loves if he risks surrendering. The words "risks surrendering" clearly imply that if a lover spends enough time like a birdwatcher in pursuit of a woman he loves and waits for her response patiently, he will definitely get his reward. The lover should patiently wait for his beloved to respond to his love and affection of her own accord. The lover should not force his love upon her in order to speed up the process of love between the two. The lover has to give some time to the woman he loves so that she would feel convinced that he really loves her. As a result, she would respond to his love and surrender herself to him, even if she may think that she is taking some risk in loving him. The poet has to wait patiently till he gets some sort of inspiration and finds appropriate words in order to express his thoughts. Poetry cannot be produced hastily, it is not a laborious task. The poet has to wait patiently till he gets inspired by some great and fantastic idea and apt words come to him naturally. Though the poet, the lover and the birdwatcher need to spend a good deal of time and wait patiently in order to complete their respective tasks, they get immense pleasure in the end when they accomplish their tasks. In the second stanza, Nissim Ezekiel has emphasized the significance of silence and slow movement in the art of poetic creation along with the other two activities. The birdwatcher has to go to the distant and remote places in silence if he wishes to take a glimpse of a rare bird. In the same manner, the lover has also to peep deep into his own heart, the heart's dark flaw, in order to find his love. The lover can understand the nature of love only when he is alone. In silence, he will realize true love deeply buried in his heart for his beloved. The poet has artistically employed the images of activities of the birdwatcher and the lover in relation to the poet also. The poet too has to go through the inaccessible parts of his heart and psyche like the birdwatcher and the lover. The poet will get appropriate words for his thoughts and feelings in the form of woman. When the woman decides to accept the love of her lover, she is transformed into a radiant spirit. The phrase myths of light stands for a radiance which does not really exist but which is an imaginary thing or product of fancy. The poet can compose poetry only with the help of words which are as mysterious as women are. The poet composes poetry out of these myths of light whose mystery is at the center of creation itself. With the assistance of apt words, the poet composes a poem with sense and sound in an artistic manner. His poetry possesses such great power that the deaf can hear, the blind recover sight. In brief, the highest poetry springs from the core of one's heart, which has the power to animate and enliven even the dead senses of human beings. Thus, Nissim Ezekiel has artistically blended the literal and the symbolic elements in the poem Poet, Lover, Birdwatcher. For example, the lines, "But patient love relaxing on a hill to note the movement of the timid wing," contain literal sense, but when the same lines are applied to the poet, who waits for right words, the lines become symbolic. Emperor Boccaracharya has praised the poem as a miracle. Technically, Nissim Ezekiel's Poet, Lover, Birdwatcher is well woven and well conceived. The poem is written in iambic pentameter. Though it is a short poem of 20 lines, we have 10 run-on lines. According to Christopher Wiseman, these run-on lines allow the syntax much more scope in defining space and emphasis, and in following emotional and intellectual rhythms in a natural way. There is no doubt that Nissim Ezekiel's poem, Poet, Lover, Birdwatcher is a masterpiece which contains all the qualities of a modern poem.
How is the video? I hope you liked the video. If you want to get more information, you can visit a website. The link of the website is there on the screen. If you like the content produced by this channel, do like and subscribe Literature Guide. I will meet you soon with a new and fresh topic of English literature. Meet you.
Please subscribe Literature Guide.